What's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. After a long wait for parts, we are replacing the motherboard and power supply on the Dell PowerEdge T410. This particular server started an uncommand shutdown in endless power loop after the UPS malfunction. After taking it apart and testing all the memory DIMMs and both CPUs and all were okay, the front I/O diagnostic lights showed 1, 3, and 4. According to Dell, it's an unknown motherboard failure. Since the server was behind the UPS that malfunctioned, we decided not to risk the new motherboard and bought a new power supply. We'll go step by step, unplug every cable, unscrew every screw, and put everything back together again. So I say enough talking and let's get started. Let's start with the unboxing of the new Dell power supply. For this task, we're going to use a regular scissor to open up the box. We can see that it's well wrapped, just in case it doesn't get damaged during shipping. It's stuck nice and tight in this anti-static bag, and here's the power supply. Now let's open up the motherboard. Well wrapped as expected. It's also wrapped in a anti-static plastic bag. And we take out the brand new motherboard for this server. We open up our server right now, and we start by unbolting the CPU heatsinks. Usually 4 bolts holds the heatsink to the motherboard. And we start by doing the second processor, also unscrewing the heatsink. Usually the screws are Phillips heads, so any Phillips head screwdriver will work for this task. And out it comes, right there. We put it aside, and now we're going to take out the RAM. These are 4 memory sticks, a total of 32 gigs of RAM. Now we're going to take a picture of our SATA cables that connect our hard drives, so we don't mix those up when we are installing the new motherboard. Just to make sure, another picture. And we start by removing the SATA cables. You do have to fight this cable. Sometimes it gets stuck on the connector. we disconnect our front I/O. Disconnect our power supply from the motherboard. We're also changing the power supply in this video. I really had to fight to get this off. Out it comes. Now we start disconnecting the fan, the rear fan. For a little bit of wiggling, out it comes. There we go. You put it aside. If it's dirty, now is the best time to clean it. Usually there's one screw that holds the motherboard to the chassis, and now we can pull it out. Out it comes. It has been in service for almost 10 years, so there's no complaints there. Now we have to remove the power supply. There's usually 6 screws on the back that holds the power supply to the chassis. This power supply actually uses a power supply mount for this, since this server is configured to use one power supply, but other configurations you can have 2 power supplies. Out it comes. Now we have to remove the rear mount. This one uses Allen screws, so we need an Allen wrench to get this off. These are heavy parts, so this power supply weighs about 5 pounds. We compare both parts and we see that they are the same. Same model, same size, everything has to be the same. For this kind of job, I usually recommend to buy the original equipment part. Buying a replacement power supply is not such a good idea. You don't know if it's gonna last or not. So for this work, I actually chose to use a genuine Dell power supply. Now we do the reverse. We install again the rear plate that holds the power supply to the chassis. And we put it back in. And we screw back our 6 Phillips screw heads back into the chassis. For this video, I used 5 cameras, so that's why I have one on my head. Now we put in the new motherboard, put it back in place, make sure it lines up. Now we have to take off both CPUs and install them on the new motherboard. I usually clean the SS heatsink paste on CPUs and apply a new coat. First CPU installed. Now we're going to do the second one. Second CPU installed. Time to install the RAM. Now we proceed to install the wiring harness. Now we connect the front panel I/O. CD SATA cable. We searched for our picture that we took earlier so we don't mix up how the cables goes on the motherboard, so we don't have to redo the array. plug in the motherboard switch that tells you if someone has opened the server. We tuck all the cables so they're all together. Now we can add the thermal paste. Make sure to start on the center. A very good amount so it spreads when we install the heatsinks. Time to install the heatsinks. Make sure they're aligned properly. Usually we tighten the screws on a net X pattern. Now we install the rear fan. Now we install our fan shroud. And we are done with this server. Now it's time to test. Now we turn it on and we see if we made our repair successful. The server has started right up. And we have our BIOS that is properly initializing. So this job is done. So if you guys have a Dell PowerEdge that has a uncontrolled power cycle, this is the solution for you. Get a new motherboard and a new power supply. Well guys, this was quite some work. We finally got this server back to life by replacing the motherboard, power supply, and the front panel I/O. If you guys enjoyed this video, give a like, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell for future videos. Remember to leave your comments and suggestions for future videos. Thank you so much for watching. See you on the next one. Take care everybody.